Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome to Financial Fitness. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. In this video, I'm going to talk about 8 bad money habits that prevent you from accumulating wealth and savings and becoming rich. Hopefully you don't have too many or any of these money habits. Take control of your finances and savings. Only you are responsible for the decisions you make in regards to your money. Let's get right into it. Waiting to invest. You might have even heard this one already, but I've witnessed this through friends and heard stories about how long it takes before people are finally comfortable with investing. Usually they've waited years after they realistically could have started investing just simply by putting it off and waiting to have more to invest, or out of fear and lack of knowledge about investing. Procrastinating likely had a side effect of spending that money instead of investing it during that time. Don't let indecision lead to no decision. You pretty much can't start investing too early. Starting earlier gives you more time for your money to potentially grow and compound. The sooner you start, the quicker you learn what to invest in, how different investments grow and behave over time, along with determining what your financial goals might be in the future. No one cares more about your money than you do. So start investing early while learning the basics to take advantage of compounding investment returns. Here are some examples to show you the cost of waiting to invest. These charts are from US News in their money and investing related articles. This chart shows the impact and differences between waiting 10 years apart at ages 25, 35, and 45 to start investing, but investing the same $200 per month until they are age 65. Because I had to double check the math on it, I went to calculator.net, and the assumption in the table is between 7 and 8% rate of return. This next one shows the drastic impact of one of my favorite ways to save, which is by not buying coffee. I think this is a super wasteful expense and it just doesn't make any sense to me. By skipping a $5 specialty coffee or latte every day, you could almost become a millionaire in 50 years. Think about that for a minute. Only $5 a day, which is not a whole lot of money. You could have $800,000 in 50 years. I would take that trade-off, and you should too. Either make your coffee at home or in the office for free, or just skip it altogether. Just give me those gains. I really like charts, so you get 2 more. This one shows that when you start investing matters more than how much you contribute. The blue line, which is Jack, shows if you start earlier and contribute only $24,000 total. But the green line, which is Jill, shows contributing $72,000, except Jack still has more invested due to compounding investment returns by starting early. This last one really illustrates the power of investing, which unlocks the secret to reaching financial freedom. Over time, the money you invest will exceed what you contribute towards investing. Once this happens, your investment returns and earnings can support your lifestyle, which will earn more than you do from working. Pay yourself first by prioritizing savings. I mentioned this briefly in my emergency funds and 50-30-20 budget videos. If you haven't seen those yet, they will be in the cards pop out above my head. Many people just save what is left over after whatever monthly expenses they have. This is the wrong approach and how savings may never happen. In order to prioritize your savings, you would still need to sort out your expenses first and also cut some down to increase savings. Set an amount that you can afford to save every month. Hopefully my video on the 50-30-20 budget can help you with beginning to review your budget and how to potentially increase your savings. I'm linking my free budget template that I made in Excel in the description below that you can use as a starting point if you haven't used it already. You can start by looking at your expenses at a monthly level before moving on to an annual level in my template, which also includes pie charts to see things visually. Live below your means, meaning spend and live on less than what your paychecks could allow you to buy. Take control of your savings and decide how much you want to save first, then budget your expenses around that afterwards. Going over your budget and not having a budget at all. Not having a budget is a fatal problem that can quickly spiral out of control and cause a lot of debt. Going over your budget is not quite as bad, but requires a mindset shift and discipline to stay on track to the budget that you created. Some reasons your budget might not be working for you are: your expenses are higher than your income, You don't have enough money budgeted for some categories. You aren't sticking to it. You didn't leave any room for fun. You aren't adjusting it. You aren't practicing self-discipline. You're cheating or understating some items. You forgot to include some expenses. You didn't budget for annual expenses. You don't have an emergency fund. The highlights from what I listed is likely that you're not sticking to it, you don't have enough budgeted for certain categories, or you aren't adjusting it. If you're finding that you're not sticking to your budget, then you may have created a budget in Excel or on paper, but neglect it. By doing this, the consequence of not staying on track to what you created is more money spent that didn't need to be. If you find you're consistently off track because of the same expenses in a particular category like food or transportation, you probably need to adjust it and cut back expenses in another category to balance your budget. Your budget is a living, breathing document that you should use consistently to compare how you're doing against your budget to stay on track. You may also have friends or be in an area or environment that has a spending mentality, which could have rubbed off in a way. Try to avoid it if you feel like that is happening to you and just learn to say no. Modern culture has brought in the keeping up with the Joneses lifestyle that accumulating material items brings happiness and possessing as much as possible becomes a competition. The idea that more goods equals happiness and that it can simply be purchased at a mall when in reality it leads to debt and bankruptcy in many cases. The movie from 2009, The Joneses, illustrates this perfectly. It's a great movie, check it out when you can. Having too much debt and monthly payments. This I think is a bit crazy these days. People don't talk about it that much, but only by asking the right questions do you find out that so many people have lots of things on monthly payments or payment plans, which typically turns into a mountain of debt. It's out of control with the amount of things that can be put on monthly installments being paid off over time with or without interest. There are car payments, furniture payments, jewelry payments, computers, laptop payments, phone payments, camera payments, monthly subscriptions, which you already know I hate, and you can even finance specific charges that you've made on your credit card now. So let's say you went to Best Buy or Amazon and bought a new game console for a couple $100. Even though you may not be able to put that on payments through the store, your credit card company may offer a fixed payment plan for that specific purchase. The list goes on, and that is a huge concern. Recently, I found out that you can even rent clothes now through companies like Rent the Runway and the Mr. Collection, which of course is yet another monthly payment. There is no reason to make monthly payments for everything unless you truly can't afford it, in which case you likely shouldn't have bought most of those things in the first place. Pay for the items up front with cash that you have and or pay your credit card bill off in full at the end of every month so there is no interest accumulating or fixed monthly payments. Even if you get 0% interest on certain items, I would still limit these as you can quickly get disorganized and forget to make a payment in the future. Don't get comfortable with having too much debt, as most debt is bad. Most consumer spending is bad debt, and it has the potential to lower your cash flow and net worth as they go towards consumables, clothes, food, and other discretionary items or services, often right onto your credit card. In many cases, to quickly compound the debt. There are a few exceptions which are good debts such as mortgages, small business loans, and education-related debt, since these have the potential to increase your cash flow and or net worth in the future. Overusing your credit card. This is easy to do these days on credit cards with all the rewards points, airline miles, and cashback potential the more that you spend. Part of this points back to going over your budget. If you go over your budget often, it would be on a credit card. By overextending and going beyond your budget for purchases, or even chasing credit card rewards, it's easy to live beyond your means. If you're having trouble with this, try only using your credit card for big purchases that you really need and paying for smaller everyday purchases with cash. That way you ease your way out of just mindlessly charging things on your credit card because it's simple and you get some points, airline miles, or cashback. Pay your credit card bill in full and only charge things that you can afford with cash that you have on hand or in your bank account. This way you can still get your credit card rewards, but not potentially go into debt or go over your budget. Having only one stream of income. Largely, many people only have one form of income, that being earned income, which is taxed fairly high, without many potential deductions. So the way to think about this is to rethink about your time. Everyone has the same 24 hours in every day. So if you have a salary or are paid hourly, the rate in which you get paid can only be so high. At some point, you need to leverage your time and the money you have earned and saved in order to really begin to grow your wealth through investing. You will find that by beginning to invest with some help from either doing your own research, a financial advisor, or a robo-advisor, that you can really grow your wealth and savings over time. Investing is passive and can be done in the background while you are earning your income by going to work. Once you purchase a stock, index, or ETF, its price movement and hopefully positive growth happens naturally as you live your life. If and when you create other streams of income beyond your earned income, starting with investing, you can begin to take advantage of potential tax deductions to offset your gains and losses in the stock market. If you start a business, you can take write-offs for certain expenses related to your business. I will make a video on different types of income streams in the future because there are more than just the two I mentioned here. Earned income and investment income are typically the most common and easy to get started with. Don't be afraid to take some calculated risks. When you're young, you should try and take some calculated risks to try and benefit your future. Try and start a business if you are thinking about doing it for some time. Invest as soon as you can. Start a side hustle. Do something out of your comfort zone. Comfort leads to complacency, which leads to no change. For example, when you are young, you have more time for your investment returns to compound. Therefore, you should take more risks to grow your money while you are young and yet have the ability to recover if the stock market or your portfolio drops in value. The same goes for starting a side hustle or business. Starting earlier usually can help you more than hurt you. Even if you make some mistakes along the way, whether it's investing, your side hustle, or your business, hopefully you'll learn from them faster and improve as you move forward. Use your time wisely and try and make the best financial choices in your 20s and 30s that you can to build your ideal future and live your dream. Not having all your finances organized and money together. This links back to having too much debt and having everything on monthly payments. Once you start to get unorganized, it usually unravels and begins to spiral until you don't want to put in the time to organize it again. I've experienced some examples of this when I used to do rollovers for clients who had many different 401ks and IRAs as they switched companies throughout their career. After a while, if you don't stay organized, it becomes harder to track down paperwork or even call the right phone number. Another part of organization goes back to having too many monthly payments. From what I mentioned earlier in this video, the more things that are on payment plans, that requires extra paperwork too, especially for things like cars at the time of trading it in for a newer one or selling it. One idea is to have your money in only about 3 to 4 different places so it's easier to maintain and keep an eye on everything. Use only one bank account for any of your checking or savings accounts, one or maybe 2 companies for your brokerage depending on the type of investment objectives you have or if your money is being managed by a financial advisor, and then one employer retirement plan like a 401k if that's available to you. To maintain this, it would require you to roll over your account from your previous company if you change employers. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video and found it insightful. Click the like button if you did, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell so you can see when I post videos. Feel free to leave comments, questions, and any topics you might want to hear about in future videos to get on track to being financially fit. See you in the next video.